Hey, whether it's a hobby, whether it's a classroom content, whether it's technology, or whether it's a stupid human trick like this, people are using YouTube to teach all sorts of things in 2021. And what I'd like to do today is to give you 5 tips on starting teaching YouTube in 2021. So let's go. Hey guys, I'm Bryan with Ball Guy Sci, and I'm here to help students, parents, and teachers kick some class either online or in person in 2021 and beyond. So to do that, I do 3 kinds of videos. I do some inspirational videos on Monday. I do some 60-second quick EdTech tips on Fridays, and then I do in-depth tutorials and reviews, lessons on Wednesday. So if you're in for that kind of content, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and you'll be notified every time a new video pops. So let's jump into this one. All right, tip number 1. This is going to seem a little dumb. It is define your topic or your content, which for teachers, this would be pretty easy because you know what you normally want to teach. But the problem is in a classroom environment, you normally have like a locked amount of time and you're trying to fill a time with your lesson and not always narrowing it down to only what they need to know, the nuts and bolts. And so when you're planning your content, make sure you keep it short. Remember this, it's always better to leave somebody a little bit hungry than to make them full. That way they always come back and they have something that's actionable. So keep that in mind as you plan out your topic. So that leads me to topic number 2. Engage your audience with your personality and your authenticity. And what I mean by that is YouTube is filled with choices. Why does somebody want to learn this from you? So if they're interested in a topic and you created something on that topic, what you're after is you're after the people who get you, who kind of get your vibe, what you're putting out there. They like your personality. So let your personality shine, unless your personality sucks. And in that case, wear like an Iron Man mask. Hey honey, where's my Iron Man mask? When I first started pushing my lessons out to YouTube, it was sort of like I was in the classroom, and I didn't realize that, students actually have to choose to want to watch me, right? So in the classroom, I'm pretty animated and I like to have fun and goof around, but in front of a camera, that's difficult to put across there. So I was just like matter of fact, like this is what you need to know, and it was boring. Human beings have about a 12-minute attention span, so keep your videos fairly short unless you're going to switch things up. Now, the other thing is make sure that you're changing up what you're doing, what you're displaying about every 10 seconds or so. Call it the 12-10 rule. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of homework right now. Go ahead and pause this video and turn on like a soap opera or a game show, anything, a movie, it doesn't really matter, and watch it for 1 minute. And I want you to count every time the camera angle shifts, changes, something moves in the background, whatever. It is probably going to be less than 10 seconds. So just start your timer. I'll wait. One really powerful way to engage your audience, besides making things change on the screen, is to tell a story. So just a second ago, I talked about me starting, like my students were checking out because I wasn't the same person on the camera on YouTube that I was in class. And that's okay. But then I started doing goofy things like I would normally do. Felt a little odd in front of the camera, but it was a little bit more engaging. So like I did a video on the skeletal system and just goofy things started happening. So I'm dancing and making all sorts of horrible puns. Go ahead and check that video out if you're into puns, you sick. Okay, guys, so that brings me to tip number 3. And tip number 3 goes right along with tip number 2. It's graphics. Anytime you have a point that you want to display, like graphics, go ahead and make a graphic and display it on the screen. It's an easy way to break up the flow of the talking head video and to give people something to look at. You can make these for free on Canva. Maybe you have Photoshop or Photoscape or some type of program where you can generate your own graphics with text and images. But whatever it is, it just makes it a little bit more interesting to convey your point. Now, there's a couple of other free sites out there that can give you what's called B-roll, which is video that you can display while your audio is playing in the background, sort of like this right now. So maybe if I'm talking about B-roll, I want to talk about somebody shooting some B-roll. All right, tip number 4, I wish I could give credit for, but I can't. I watched the video, a guy talked about not getting gas, and gas stands for gear acquisition syndrome. So gear acquisition syndrome is where your brain is all caught up in that your videos would just be better if you had the latest gear. You need fancy lights, you need an awesome camera. And I'm going to tell you, I made some decisions just recently to up my gear game, but as cheaply as I could using just a cell phone. So if you have a modern cell phone, you already have a 4K camera capable of shooting awesome quality video. You probably just need a mic, maybe a couple cheap lights like a ring light or something like that. For really cheap, you can get up and running teaching on YouTube. Now, I did a video of all the gear that I was using using at the time. I'll link that right up there. But to be honest, you probably could check out, if you have a smartphone, some moment lenses. I got one of mine secondhand. It's what I'm using right now on an iPhone 8 Plus, believe it or not, to shoot this video. And I'm shooting in 1080p, and it looks pretty good. I mean, my hair looks amazing. So don't get caught up in needing to spend like $1,000 to up your game. I mean, you don't need super awesome footage. You just need a good story, break that content down, make sure it's visually appealing, that you are yourself and are interesting, and your audience is going to watch you because they want to learn from you. And so whatever it is that you have to teach, they're going to want to learn. All right, tip number 5 is a lot like tip number 2, and that is engage your audience. But this time, do it outside of your videos as well as inside your videos. So if your videos are engaging and they're fun to watch, why is that? Like, what is it about a YouTube video that makes you want to stick around and watch it? Go ahead and drop that in the comments. Ask a question. Do you have an Iron Man costume or mask that you could lend me, and will you ship it? So things like that. And if you're out there genuinely wanting to solve problems and help people learn something that's interesting to you, then you might want to find out what's interesting to them. And how can you help? So you can engage them on social media. Follow me on social media at BaldSci. One other super easy way to engage your audience is do a live stream. So it's one of the things that I really want to do in 2021 is a couple of live streams. And so what topics, whether it's in ed tech, education, character education, inspiration, whatever, would you want to see in a live stream? Be like, hey, Bryan, I'd be in for that live stream. Drop that in the comments down below. I'd look forward to doing that in 2021. All right, guys. Well, I hope that was helpful. Those are my 5 tips for starting teaching on YouTube in 2021. I hope it was helpful, and I hope I will see you in the next video.